guitar friends. This is a quick tutorial on some basic slide guitar techniques. And first of all, just to get into the Little Red Rooster riff, I've got the 5th string detuned one whole step. So now instead of an A string, it's G. I've left all the other strings unfettered with, but I technically am on my way to open G once I drop that 5th string. Of course, Keith doesn't use a 6th string. Keith did not play slide guitar in that session, though. As far as I know, I'm sure that would have been Brian Jones. But not to belabor the point, I like the Howlin' Wolf version better. Stones did it one way, Howlin' Wolf did it the other way. Howlin' Wolf comes first, of course. So the main thing, we're just using Little Red Rooster as a springboard to get into some basic techniques. First thing is you just want to target the root. And that's going to help you cement the pitch in your ear and in your mind and really start getting in tune. Just targeting roots, because you hear roots so clearly. If you're out, you will definitely hear it. So we're in G, key of G, and of course with slide guitar you want to be right directly over the fret to get in tune. It's not like playing regular guitar. Playing regular, like fretted, I'm right behind the fret and I hit that note. But if I target, just to show how to do it wrong, if I target that like I'm playing regular, I'll be so flat, it'll be horrible. You don't want to do that. So you want to be right over the fret. Some vibrato is always in good taste. Having said that, when you're working on getting right in tune, it can be an effective practice to ditch the vibrato. Just start out, can I get exactly spot on the pitch? And you can even match that against the fretted. So technically I was just a little sharp there. That was exactly matched. And you can just keep matching yourself. Play a fretted phrase and then play it with the slide. See how close you are on your pitch. You're trying to really get to where the pitch does not waver and you have control over it. Because once you have control over it, you have freedom on the guitar. So to keep this short, under the 10-minute mark, here's the lick itself. And at the end of this video also, I will demonstrate playing this with a glass slide instead of the nickel and putting it on my 3rd finger, because different slides give different sounds, of course. So as far as whichever you gravitate towards, once you've got that, you got your 5th string detuned, remember that, and then it's just 3rd fret, slide up to 4th, and then open 5th string. So there's that bass phrase, as in the low notes on the guitar, not the bass line itself. And then you want to wind up at the 8th fret, and that's the Little Red Rooster riff. It just targets the roof. It just targets the root, not the roof. And because when I'm naturally playing it, if I'm not just practicing it academically, yeah, sure, some vibrato usually goes on. And then once you're there, you can slide off the note. Slide down the neck. So that gives you a real reference point where the chords are G, the key is G, and the note that I'm targeting is G. And it's a good reference point it's a good riff itself to start working on getting in tune. And it's also a good practice. Say you're not playing Little Red Rooster, but anything, if you're in E, just start targeting the root. Can I get right in tune with the root? Because the ear really hears if a root is sharp or flat. So back to the riff. And it just does that over and over again. That's the riff over the 1 chord, over the G chord. And then when you go to the 4 chord, that's going to be the C chord, and it's going to slide up 3 strings, 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. Now slide all into the 5th fret. That's going to form the sound of a C, really a C power chord. And if I were in open G, if I had detuned this high E string down one whole step, well, there's the major 3rd even off the B string. It's all the Keith Richards riffs. So you don't need to mess with that here. You just need to get these 3 strings, 5th, 4th, and 3rd. And I'm doing that really to keep this simple, but also it keeps the root on top. So when it goes to the C chord, that's a C note. And if I'm off, I'm going to hear it because, again, C against C, it's not going to be pleasing to the ear if I'm wildly off the center of the pitch. That's not going to work when the rest of the band is right there. Okay? So same idea. When we go to the 4 chord, target the root, and then goes back to the 1 chord, goes back to the riff. Just over and over. And, you know, you can get the form by the track. And so, starts out G, then verse begins on the C chord. I am the little red rooster. I am the little red rooster. So back, you know, Howlin' Wolf sings over the 4 chord. Mick Jagger sings over the 4 chord. And the 1 chord has the riff. So when it goes to the 5 chord, that's D. And that's just at the 7th fret. Again, I'm just doing 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings. And with the slide, I'm just right over the fret and I'm targeting the root. That's going to keep it real easy to hear if I'm off pitch at all. And then back to C. Right over the fret again at the 5th. And then back to the 1 chord, to the G, which has the riff. So there's a lot more to say about the subject of form, but that's not a traditional 12-bar blues form. But it is a blues, and so the verse begins on the 4 chord. And on the track, actually, when I went to the 5 chord, because there's no vocal here, I think I did more of a lick. I think I did. So I'm playing a guitar lick, a blues lick. And what's going on there is I'm just coming out from the same spot of the G lick, and I'm moving back. Slow slide down 2 frets. Then 7th fret, 3rd string. Then 7th fret, 2nd string. And then 7th fret, 3rd string. Slide down, back to 7th fret, 4th string. And then 4th and 3rd string slide back into 7th fret twice. So it's all localized. It's all centered around that 7th fret. And there's more to say about that, about ways you can emulate open tunings even if you're in standard. These 3 strings don't change. Even if I had gone full-on open G, these D, G, and B strings would stay the same. So anyhow, without belaboring the point or getting off the beaten path, that's all that's going on. It's a lot of targeting the root, and when you practice that way, you're going to have a reference point immediately that you might not get if you're focused more on some of the other notes. Like if there's a lot of times, like in blues, if you're doing the minor third into the major third, and there's that kind of in between. If I'm in E, well, is that a G sharp or a G natural or somewhere in between? I mean, with a slide, if I do that, sounds pretty good actually, because I'm flattening the third. but I want to know that I'm flattening the third and have my hands be at ease to do exactly what I need them to do, instead of leaving it completely to chance and just having really wobbly technique and not being able to get in tune when it needs to get in tune. So I do something like that and I flatten the third. Of course, now I'm playing a lick in E, but I don't really mean to be flattening the third. I don't know why that sounds okay, but the rest doesn't, and my hands just aren't trained to do the right thing yet, so it sounds like, instead of just flattening the third, I flatten everything, and no, that's not what you want to do. You want to have perfect control of your hands, and you're also training your ear as you're doing that. That's a huge part of this. So how am I going to train my ear with my hands? And so targeting roots, it will help you exponentially, I promise. I'll see you next time. Also, to take you out of this, as promised, I'm going to put the glass bottle on the third finger and play the whole thing again with that. And it's just a different sound. You can tell me what you like also. I know what I like. I tend to use the glass bottle more often than not, but I like having the liberation to also use, whether I want to use my pinky or my ring finger and whatever material of slide, because, you know, different times you want different things. Pinky is really great if you need to fret things behind the slide. So that's where that comes in handy. And anyhow, but now I'm going to go ahead and play it for you, just with the glass slide on the third finger. I'll see you next time.